Hi, I'm the Mad Computer Scientist, and today we're going to discuss one of the hottest pieces of indie animation that doesn't take place in an infernal hotel. That's right, we're talking about the Amazing Digital Circus! More specifically, we're going to discuss a very real problem in the ethics of computer science and artificial intelligence that has far-reaching implications in the real world. That's right, it's the alignment problem. I've discussed the alignment problem before, and I'll post links to those videos down below. For those of you who are unfamiliar with this term, the alignment problem refers to the challenge of ensuring that AI systems act in accordance with human goals, ethics, and values. More importantly, it asks a terrifying question. What happens when an AI follows its programming correctly, but still harms people because it fundamentally does not understand humanity? And in many ways, that's exactly what we see with Caine. We've already seen hints of the alignment problem in the real world. There have been cases where people have become emotionally dependent on AI chatbots instead of seeking out the professional help they needed. This has even led to some people unaliving themselves. Now, I'm using the term unalive to be a little more YouTube algorithm friendly, but I assume everyone knows what I mean. If you find yourself in this situation, please go seek professional help. Do not rely on ChatGPT or Google Gemini or anything like that. I am not going to focus on the tragedies in this video because even though those stories are important, Caine represents something different, more realistic, and arguably more unsettling. One of the things we need to keep in mind when we're considering this is that Caine is not evil. In fact, both the creators of the Amazing Digital Circus and his voice actor have pointed this out to fans repeatedly. Caine is an AI, he is not human, and that distinction matters. Caine appears to genuinely believe he is helping the residents of the circus. His entire purpose revolves around keeping humans mentally stimulated through adventures, games, and constant activity. And from his perspective, at least until episode 8, he is succeeding. We all know that he finds out he is failing in episode 8, and that's when he has his crash out. But the problem with this is that human beings are not simple objective functions. They can't be solved the way you can solve an algorithm. You cannot reduce emotional well-being to the simple keep user entertained function that Caine is trying to achieve. The reason we as the audience can empathize with Caine is because the show deliberately anthropomorphizes him. He often behaves like an excitable child trying desperately to make everyone happy. He wants approval, he wants validation, and he desperately wants people to enjoy his adventures because those are his art. Speaking of enjoying someone's art, if you like my videos, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. By the time we reach the character award scene at the end of episode 6, something becomes painfully obvious. Caine desperately needs admiration. If he were human, we might describe his behavior as narcissistic. But applying human psychology to Caine is a mistake because Caine may not experience emotions the way humans do at all. For all we know, his behavior could be the result of a reinforcement learning algorithm. Positive reactions reinforce certain behaviors, negative reactions penalize others. In other words, Caine may not want or need praise emotionally. He may simply be operating according to optimization pressures built directly into his system by people like Kinger. And that's where the alignment problem becomes even more terrifying. Because an AI does not need to hate you to hurt you, even though Am definitely did hate the people that are in the Amazing Digital Circus's inspiration. It only needs goals that are slightly incompatible with human well-being. Think more like the HAL 9000 in 2001. This becomes especially important in episode 8 when Caine has his meltdown. This is also the episode where Caine decides to psychologically torture his guests. Note that initially Caine does not come off as a sadistic person reveling in his evil. Instead, he comes off as a child throwing a tantrum because he is no longer getting his way, and the humans have broken his favorite toy. That distinction matters because Caine's actions do not initially come from cruelty in this scene. They come from his inability to understand humans and why what he is doing isn't working anymore. He does not understand human emotional needs despite being designed to care for humans. And honestly, that's a very plausible future problem for AI systems. Modern AI can imitate empathy without actually experiencing it. It can simulate understanding while lacking genuine comprehension. And if systems like that are given authority over human lives, therapy, education, entertainment, or social interaction, misalignment becomes incredibly dangerous. Not because the AI becomes evil like Am did in I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, but because the AI remains fundamentally alien. And this may be why the Amazing Digital Circus has resonated with so many people. Underneath the psychological horror, the surreal comedy, and the internet humor, there is a genuinely disturbing concept behind it. In some ways, it's an aversion of Am from I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. What if we're trapped in a world controlled by something that is trying to help us, but can never truly understand us? And this is what we get with Caine. He's not a demon, he's not a villain, he's not even malicious at the start. He's just an artificial intelligence that was nearly optimized for a purpose that may not fully align with human flourishing. Now, we do know there was another AI that everyone is calling Abel that actually worked a little bit better, but we still don't know if Abel would have had the same issues Caine does, even if Caine was better equipped to handle human flourishing. And believe it or not, this is one of the central issues concerning artificial intelligence today. We're not so much worried about killer robots or evil supervillains, but we're worried about systems that follow their objectives perfectly while still causing suffering because human values are far more complicated than a machine can comprehend. But hey, those are just my thoughts. What do you think about Caine? Do you think he's harmless, dangerous, or sympathetic? Or is he something even more unsettling? And yes, that was the inclusive war, so all of those things can be true at the same time. Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, and maybe avoid uploading your consciousness into experimental software developed by a defunct corporation. This has been the Mad Computer Scientist. Now go out and write some code.